Good morning, good morning. It's fun to start the day. Good morning to you. Good morning. I hope you're loving your vacation, your summer vacation. I am too. But I got to thinking that I'm going to miss you, and I want to make sure that we do a few things together in the summer so when September starts, we're going to be right off and running. So I thought I'd talk to you today about fractions. Fractions are your friends. I love fractions. And what better place to start a conversation about fractions but in my kitchen. This is my kitchen. I want us to start a trek this summer together. Do you know what a trek is? A trek is a journey. So I want us to be the trek team. The trek team together everywhere around with math. And our first journey is to my kitchen. Because that's where fractions work all the time. This is my favorite oatmeal raisin recipe. It calls for half a cup of this and a quarter cup of that and 1.5 cups of this. So you need to know about fractions. Before we start, I want to talk about a really important part, and this is the numerator and the denominator. Because a fraction is just a part. My mother will say, I just want a fraction of that candy bar, just a little itty bit, a part. Notice that there's two parts to a fraction. There's the top number, which is the numerator, which is the part. And the bottom, the down number, is the denominator, the whole. Part over the whole, part over the whole, numerator over the denominator. So the denominator is the down number. The down number is the denominator. Denominator is an important number because that tells you how many parts the whole is cut up into. Because after all, a fraction is just a division problem with that division line right in the middle. So notice I took my oatmeal cookie that I cooked for my recipe and I divided it into 4. There it is, 4 pieces. And so I have them divided into 4 pieces, but I am only going to take one little piece of that. Delicious. That's where I get the 1/4 from. Numerator over denominator. The part over the whole. Remember that because when we do ratios, you need to know that too. By the way, I know you 6th graders know this. Another name for a fraction, ratio. Ratio, fraction, same thing. Ratio, fraction, fraction, ratio, same thing. So this is the numerator and denominator, which is so very important. So if I had these fractions, you could tell me, I bet, that I had something cut up into 5 pieces, because the down number, the denominator says 5, and I'm going to eat maybe 3 of them, because it says 3/5. Same way with this. You have 11 pieces, the whole thing, the whole pie is cut into 11 pieces, and you're going to only eat 6 pieces of it. Fractions. This is a fraction. Notice part over the whole. Part over the whole, part over the whole. And the part is always small, isn't it? But what if you have one like that? Oh no! Now you have a big part over the whole of 5. 5 cannot hold that knot up. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy. It's so heavy that it drops down and divides. It just comes right down, drop down and divide, drop down and divide. That's Michael's rule. Drop down and divide, drop down and divide. Always do Michael's rule. Drop down and divide. So here I'm going to drop down and divide. 5 goes into 9 once. It's just a division problem. And I end up with 4 left over. That's a part. Leftover's part, right? So I take that and put it up on top of my whole. there. So this fraction over here, which was improper, it's not the way it should be. It's got to be, the part is always smaller than the whole. This is improper. I have to drop down and divide, drop down and divide. And I end up saying 5 goes into 9 one time, 4 left over, bring the 4 up on top, and the 5 is still the denominator. So you have improper fractions that don't work the way they should. The part is always smaller than the whole, correct? But in this case, it was bigger and it could not hold it up. Whoops, that 5 could not hold that 9 up. It was so heavy that it dropped down and divide, drop down and divide, drop down, drop down, drop down and divide, drop down and divide. Okay, so this is our first little lesson, a little reminder, that's all, refresher course on fractions. So I hope you liked it, and I hope you remember fractions. I'll see you next time when we will be doing decimals, and then we're going to truck. We're going to go places doing math together, multiplying, adding, subtracting, you name it, we'll do it. See you then. Bye.